Welcome everyone, I'm Michelle Schumann, the Artistic Director of the Austin Chamber Music Center. We're really excited about our festival coming up, and I'm here with Festival Focus. We've got Patrick Laird here from the Brooklyn Duo. Great to see you, Patrick. Many of our audience members will remember that Patrick was here with his band, Break of Reality, and I think it was 2013 or something like that. That sounds about right, right?
That was a fun show, yeah.
It was super fun, and we loved having you. And it's interesting because I came across the Brooklyn Duo, your group with your pianist wife, in a way that I rarely come across groups. It was a totally new way. So I wanted to describe that to you and the audiences, because normally I come across chamber music groups, both alternative and traditional, via either live performances, or I'm involved with Chamber Music America, or I get a lot of materials from agents sending me things about various things. And I came across the Brooklyn Duo because I was on YouTube, and through my various searches, YouTube had a recommendation for me, and the recommendation was the Brooklyn Duo, and I clicked on it, and I was like, oh, there's Patrick. And I was just captivated by the music that you were doing, and just the beauty in which you both bring to it. And so I was intrigued right from the get-go, and then I noticed that you had like millions and millions of views on these tunes. And so I just wanted to, first of all, just talk to you about how did the Brooklyn Duo come about? How did you guys decide to start on it? What the progress was on that? And also, like, how you decided to distribute the music, because clearly millions of people are engaged with you, and yet you're only about to do your first live shows this summer. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Actually, this will be our second live performance. We're kind of doing a warm-up show in New York City, but
nice.
Yeah, and there's a reason for that, and I'll talk a little bit about that as well. But yeah, maybe I'll start from the beginning with how we started.
Yeah.
Well, as you mentioned, I play with the band, with a cello rock band, and we have a very specific sound, and I've written a lot of music for the band, and I've arranged a lot of covers of music that we love and that we grew up with. And there's kind of a certain sound that Break of Reality has that we stick with and that we really believe in. But after a while, my wife and I got married back in 2012, and she's a pianist, a brilliant pianist, and so we loved playing together. We had played, I think, maybe one or two concerts, just classical music. And we always loved it, but I was kind of always focused outside of classical music, and even though I practiced classical music all the time, it was, not super. It wasn't my main focus, and so we just were trying to brainstorm a way that we could work together, and with my knowledge from the band, I had some ideas about how we could potentially market, some duo. And I think like our whole premise and the music, the type of music that we cover, that all stemmed from, just feeling like, and this isn't a bad thing, but sort of boxed in with Break of Reality, because we have such a specific sound. Mm-hmm. And there's only certain things that we can cover to really, to give, our sound justice. And there's a whole lot that we really don't feel like we're comfortable covering, just given who we are as a group. And Marnie and I entered thinking, popular music is so huge, and it's the biggest market, and we love, popular music. Like, we always listen to it when we're driving or whatever. So we thought, let's just focus on the most popular music, not worry about having a specific sound, or we just figured we would try to cover as much stuff as we could. And we also noticed at the time that there weren't a lot of groups. There were a few groups that were having success doing covers of popular music on classical instruments, but with these like elaborate videos. Right. And I think for us, we just thought it would be really cool to capture live, intimate performances where, we practice a lot and we rehearse and then we capture this live performance, but with really good quality audio, but maybe just a camera on a tripod.
It's sort of like the idea of bringing pop sort of unplugged and into your chamber, into the living room.
Exactly, yeah. And I think that was just like the opening idea. And since then, so much has just kind of worked. Like, I think people really love the fact that we're a couple and that we share music together. And, we didn't really plan it so much, but the whole intimate live setting kind of really reflects that well. Mm-hmm. And from the get-go, we, had a lot of early success. We released a video and it was like a cover of a Shakira song. And like, we had no followers. Like, we had nobody online who was, a fan or anything. And she found it somehow. Somebody must have sent it to her or something. And she like tweeted it to, like, she had literally like 100 million followers, And so that was like, for us, that was huge. And so that was a really good early boost. And since then we said, let's put a focus on this and do as much of it as we can. And we've really spanned as many genres as we can. We've gone, mostly popular music, but we've done so much and even back to classical music, and we created a classical channel. So yeah. And as far as marketing goes, I think we always had YouTube as our primary focus. We thought we had this unique product, of these live intimate videos, and they were seemingly doing well. So we said, if we're going to try to tour right away, we're not going to have the time, especially since I'm on tour with the band all the time. And there's just not enough time to tour and also regularly release videos and content. So that was an easy decision for us, just to be like, look, let's stay home and enjoy our time as a young couple and not have to worry about constantly planning tours and doing all that, and just doing what we love to do right at home.
And so now, as you're looking at doing your first performances, how do you envision those shows? This is good for us to talk about, because then we can kind of plan for July as well together as that goes. But like, how do you see that? Because it'll obviously have a different aesthetic than the Break of Reality
Totally.
shows. And are you excited about this sort of new adventure of presenting live? And how are you guys thinking about that?
Yeah, absolutely. We've always wanted to play live. It wasn't like, we don't want to be playing. It was just like, we could reach so many more people through the internet for the time being. But now we're kind of like testing the waters and seeing, in New York and Austin and a few other cities, which we'll be doing soon. We're just kind of like feeling things out and seeing, meeting our fans in person and just seeing how that goes before we kind of jump whole hog into a touring schedule. But we're really excited about it. And I think it's, both of us have never presented a concert quite like this. And I think that's what's fun for us. But it's, given we released like, I think close to 80 covers, which is crazy to think about. But it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. It's a good thing because we have a lot to choose from, but it's also a bad thing because we have, we can only choose so many songs.
It's like picking your favorite kids that people say you can't do, but
Yeah, exactly. So I think what we're really trying to do, and we haven't fully picked the set list, but we're kind of like, we're getting close. And I think what we're trying to do is, we want to cover all of our favorite videos that we've done, our favorite covers, but also at the same time, we want to make sure we can span so many different like musical periods. Yeah. So we're definitely going to play some classical music, which I think will be good for the festival. There'll be a lot of classical music fans, but it's also classical music that we feel is great for maybe fans of ours who don't listen to classical music. So something that they can listen to and say, this is really great classical music, and it's maybe a little bit more accessible. We're not going to play any contemporary classical 12-tone or anything crazy, but so we'll do a little bit of classical music, and we're going to play mainly pop music, but from like decades and decades ago, and kind of almost like we initially we were thinking, hey, we could do like an evolution of music type
Uh-huh.
of theme, and we're not quite going to label it that, but it's going to be a really cool journey, I think, all the way. From classical music on through to like probably a song that's not even out yet, and
Awesome.
that comes out,
Very
maybe a
cool.
few weeks before
Nice.
the concert, and we decide to add it.
Yeah, that's super cool. So when I first saw your video, I'm a big fan of yours, and I'm a big fan of Break Reality. But I'll tell you, when I first saw your duo play, I was captivated by your wife's and playing, by Marnie's and playing. She is such an incredibly beautiful pianist. She's super musical, and her technique especially is very organic and very flowing. Later on, I found out that she was Canadian, and actually I'm Canadian, so I think that some of the teachers that she's had, I actually have shared with her as well. And so it was just, I love her playing, and I actually find that oftentimes when I'm looking, and I don't mean to be tacky, but when I'm looking at some of these videos with other people, especially the pianists aren't as trained when they're doing pop music, and even the originals, they'll have these pop pianists who they just don't know how to play so beautifully. And so I think that that's something really special that you guys bring to this. It's just bringing this like high level of intricate music making to this music that is really well suited for that kind of music making. Tell me about your how you guys create the covers. Does she also write her parts, or how does that work? And also just relay how much fun it is to play with her, because it's got to be, because she's just so musical.
Yeah, she's my favorite pianist in the world.
She better be. You better say that out loud, right?
Yeah. But yeah, and I say that not because I have to, but also
Right,
because she really is a brilliant pianist, and I'm so happy that we found this, because I feel like it's an amazing outlet for her to kind of do what she wants in music, but also to showcase her ability on the piano, which I think is really cool for her, and it's cool for us to do together. But yeah, she's super fun to play with, and we love playing together. I mean, it's a great opportunity for us to interact, and I think a lot of times when you have a couple that's in business and also has a relationship together, it can be difficult. And I think we're so lucky that maybe it's because of the music thing or whatnot, but we have a blast with it, and I think it's something that we can share together, and we love. To see, to read our comments and to see how people interact with us. And it's a really fun thing for us. But as far as the arrangements go, Marnie, actually, she heads most of the arrangement work, especially for the stuff with just, we have guest artists from time to time, and I'll focus a lot on those, bigger group arrangements. But she does an excellent job at the arranging, and I can't really, I can play a little bit of piano, but it's just like foreign to me to write piano. I mean, I could probably write a simple piano part or arrangement, but I think she understands the piano the best, and she knows how she can, play it the best. And so she'll do all of the arrangements. She'll even write out the cello part for me, and then we'll rehearse together and we'll hash out a lot. So it's very different, from the very beginning to when we rehearse, but we kind of mess around with, why don't you take the second verse, or why don't you do this, and then I'll figure this out, or so it's a little bit of a collaborative process. But she takes the heavy arrangement work ahead of time. Did I miss a question? I feel like there was something else.
I don't think so. I think that's great. Tell me how you ultimately choose the songs that you do.
That's also a very difficult thing, because we actually have a list of songs that we want to do, and we'll never be able to.
So it's endless.
It's endless. Yeah. And like, I feel like, we were driving yesterday in the car, and we threw on the Spotify playlist, and we literally added like 4 songs to the list. So which is a good thing. I mean, I
Yeah.
think it's nice to know, we don't really, our philosophy is like when we do so many videos that we try to like do our best with the time that we have for the video, and then once it's done, like we release it as quickly as possible, and then we jump right to the next thing. And I think so many groups and so many artists are focused on like what's this big album that we're going to release this year, and they spend so much time on it, and that's I think a valuable thing for certain groups, certainly for Break of Reality.
Yeah.
But for us, that's kind of our thing. We're like, how many of these songs that we love can we go through? And so we just do as many as we can. And as far as how to choose them, sometimes it's an easy decision. Like Ed Sheeran releases a new single and it's amazing and it would sound good on piano and cello. We're going to release that. We're going to stop everything we're doing and release that as quickly as possible. Relevancy and timing is really important sometimes on YouTube. But when there's not something like that, then we have to do a little bit more thinking, and our list is kind of in priority order. So we'll usually look at the first 5 or so covers and say, hey, which ones do we want to do now? Or maybe we want to wait and do one with, a guest artist that we'll have coming in for a different instrumentation or whatnot. But we're not too, we don't have like a method. We do what we kind of want to do or what we think would work.
What I love about that is that there's some room for spontaneity. And sometimes musicians and artists get so stuck in like the plan ahead and the idea of like how it all has to take place. And then if something comes up, they feel like their hands are tied because they already have all the wheels in motion for a particular project. And so the fact that you guys leave a little bit of room open for that spontaneous, like, this will be magical if we do this. Now, even if it's like just for the ethos being magical, but also for marketing purposes too, because it is important for musicians to understand, like, who's listening to what, who's attracted to what, and to get, those 7.4 million eyeballs. That's a really great thing. Actually, it's twice. It's really 14.8 eyeballs, isn't it?
That's right.
We should all think about it that way. And then, of course, the ears, too.
It's good for the marketing numbers, too.
Yeah, exactly. Just double everything.
Yeah, exactly.
So you and Marnie just recently had a baby. So tell us how that's rocked your world, and like just logistically and also just musically, how that's kind of shaped things for you.
Yeah, well, it's certainly changed everything. I would assume it's the same thing for any new parents. You can imagine what it would be like all you want, but the truth is when it happens, it's like totally new and you got to figure it out. And but we're having a blast with it. Her name is Emerson, and she's just this really cute little baby, and we love every minute of watching her grow up. And she's 7 months now. Actually, just yesterday was her 7-month birthday, and we're having a ball with it. And I think it's ever since we started dating and got married, we always wanted to have kids, and so it's something that we've looked forward to for a long time, and I think we count our blessings every day that that we do what we do, because we work from home and we can spend so much time with the baby. And even when we're booking these tours and when we play, sometimes we do like private engagements and that sort of thing, and we bring her to everything that we do, and so that's a lot of fun for us. But it's hard. Even though we work from home, it's almost even more difficult because we just constantly want to be spending time with the baby. And so really that's kind of our little struggle, is to figure out how to balance our time so that we can continue to focus, on our output and on regularly releasing content and booking all of these concerts and doing all the stuff that we want to do, but also spending time with the baby. But so far, so good. We're releasing maybe less videos than we were before, but it's great, and we couldn't ask for more.
And some of the videos have actually Marnie holding the baby, like in a baby Bjorn or like one of the carry-ons, right?
Yep. Yeah.
I love that.
We wanted to do kind of like an announcement. We like an official announcement with her, and it took us several months to be able to pull it off. But we wanted to capture a couple moments. And really, honestly, we the first video that she was in was called "Perfect" by Ed Sheeran, and it's just a beautiful song. And it kind of meant so much to us, just the song itself, because of all these experiences going through raising a young baby. It synced up with that well, and so really we created the video almost like for ourselves, like
Yeah.
I'm excited to watch it with Emmy in 10, 20 years or whatever, and I think she'll get a kick out of it too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was our kind of way to introduce and to announce the baby to our fan base, and hopefully, we have her tinkering at the piano a bit every day and practicing, and
Yes.
so maybe one of these days she'll join us musically as well.
Yeah, well, you never know. I have a 5-year-old, and and she's had a lot of piano and music in her life, and also had the plenty of hours practicing, like right here. It's actually fun, it's like it's a good place for that, and
Totally. Not as good on the cello.
No, that's a little bit getting a little smushed there. You need to do the back carrier or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a great life. The one thing that I have loved about having a child is that, like, I think before her, being social in any way that wasn't musical was really hard for me to do. Like, everything was it was about the music, doing the music, being active in that way. And I find now, like, I can just spend time with her that is just pure leisure. And she gets to kind of decide what we do together. And there's a freshness in that, so that when I am coming back to the music, like, I really feel like I'm energized for that I'm sort of between these things. And certainly I do a lot of musical things with her too. And that also kind of expands. You'll find that, like, as your daughter gets older, like when you guys are practicing or playing, your daughter will just come in and start dancing. And I'm like, yes, this is dance music. And we need to not forget that. Like, the body just wants to move to the music because of how fantastic
I actually have a great story about that. I was practicing, I have been practicing the Bach suites just for myself. I mean, I feel like it's something that I'm always practicing because it's never quite sounding the way that I want it to. But one day, Marnie brought Emmy up while I was practicing, and I was playing a movement of Bach, and Marnie kind of was like holding the baby and dancing with her, and she was like totally focused on the music. She loves music, you can tell,
Sure,
like we'll stop playing music and she'll start crying, and then we'll start playing it and she'll like stare at us and like watch so intently. And but anyway, I was playing this movement and Marnie just like was dancing with her, and like it totally changed like the way that I play that sorry, got it. There we go. So it totally changed the way that I play that movement now. It's like when I play it, when I practice it, I imagine her kind of dancing and flowing with it, and it's like that image in my mind, like has really shaped the way that I play that movement. So it's kind of cool when that happens, when you can kind of bring these experiences with your kids into what you do musically.
Well, and it's just so pure, and it's what music was meant to be, right? This sort of very natural expression of what's inside of us. That's great. Well, we cannot wait to have you in Austin in just a little while, and it's going to be really enjoyable. And I can't wait to meet Marnie and see you both. And baby will be in tow as well. Are you bringing Emmy with you?
Yeah, she'll probably be backstage, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, we have some hands for that, so we can
totally. Yeah, that would be. Well, we'll need a few, I think.
Yeah, great.
We're really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a special concert for us. Our second concert ever in public, and we're thrilled, and we can't wait to visit and to play for everybody in Austin who comes in.
Awesome. We can't wait. Well, you guys have a great day, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, likewise.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.